Hi everybody, I hope you're all well. It's quite a dull morning here in the south of England, but I am back from my holiday. I had an absolutely fantastic time. I've really loved being back in Stratford. It's been 2 years since I was last year, and this is the first time I think ever I have been in March. I've been in the winter, and it was the quietest I've ever experienced it. It was really quite lovely. Not that I'm saying, crowds of people and everything aren't nice to be in, because, sometimes it really is nice to get lost in. But what made it so lovely was that it meant that I could walk down the road and not be rammed by people. You could, at any point of the day, go to Shakespeare's birthplace and take a picture outside the birthplace and know there weren't going to be crowds of people that were going to be in your shot, that kind of thing. So it was just really lovely to just have a bit more breathing space in Stratford. It was bloody cold though, my God. I was freezing cold for quite a bit of time. There was no getting chips and sitting by the river, none of that. I've never been there when it's been misty and the mist over the river. Oh, it was beautiful. Sometimes there were days where you could not see the other side of the river. The mist was that thick. When I went out for my morning walk about 9 o'clock in the morning, it was crazy, but it was so beautiful. I loved every minute of it. I got up to various things. I did a outdoor like escape room mystery thing where you go to different places. You have to follow a map in the booklet and solve clues based on things that you see at each step for each page. And at the front of the book there's like 5 plays, 5 suspects, 5 roles, 5 dates, and there was something else, I can't remember what the other one was, but groups of 5, and each time that you solved a clue, a puzzle, you eliminated one of those things until you have one left in each category. And it ended going into the Garrick Inn, and that's a pub that I have never actually been in Stratford before. Seen it so many times, never been in. And what was really funny was that I went in and I ordered a drink and I sat down because I was like, you know what, after walking around for a couple of hours and doing this outdoor escape room thing, I wanted to sit down, and I just sat down at a random table with my drink, and I read the last page, and it was like, find this poster in the Garrick Inn and see if what you have left aligns with the poster. And I was like, oh God, I've got to look around this pub. Literally turned my head to the left and it's on the wall next to me. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds of that happening? It's just so great. I ended up having lunch there. It was very lovely. And found out that it's also the most, well, believed to be, should I say, because it depends on your beliefs, the most haunted pub in Stratford-upon-Avon. So, yeah, I possibly hung out with some ghosts and not realised while I was having lunch there. I also went to the Dirty Duck, which was another pub where I have always wanted to go in and I just haven't gotten around to. Oh my God, it is beautiful in the Dirty Duck. Word of warning though, you have to go up a load of steps that have hardly any handrails. I felt like conscious I was going to fall, even though I don't drink alcohol. I was totally sober, and I'm like, my God, can you imagine how many people have fallen down these steps over the years? Jesus. And they do say on their website that because it's a Grade 2 listed building, there is nothing they can do about disabled access. Unfortunately, to the Dirty Duck, it is what it is. So if you do want to go to the Dirty Duck, be aware that even though there are steps, to get up there in the first place, handrail doesn't go all the way up and down those steps. So yeah, I mean, I felt funny and I was sober. Yeah, I did so many walks. It was just so beautiful, just at Stratford at this time of year. And I think I'm definitely going to do that again. But yeah, if you do go at this time of year, take your coat, your scarf, your gloves, your hat. It was freezing. I had to keep on putting the heating on in my room, in my hotel room, every time I went back because I was so cold. And funnily enough, when I travelled home on Friday, I actually commented to Mum and Dad, "It is so warm here," and it was only like 10 degrees. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And even though the temperatures were like highs of about, I don't know, 8 or 9 while I was in Stratford, because you're right by the river, you get all of the, you know, the wind and everything from, naturally, because you're by a water source, so it felt freezing. And I kind of like developed this routine of like making sure I was having a hot meal when I was out at lunchtime, and maybe having something lighter at dinner rather than the other way around. So I kind of flipped my eating pattern, as it were. I managed to get lots and lots of sleep. I think all the walking helped as well. And I got to see a couple of theatre productions, and I bought the programmes for them. So the first one was A Midsummer Night's Dream with Matt Bainton here, playing Bottom from Ghosts. I absolutely love Ghosts. I love the horrible histories that he did with the various casts who also did Yonderland and Ghosts, all of them together, all of them star in it, all of them write with it, produce, that kind of thing. So yeah, they've done so much for British comedy over the years, and this was his RSC debut. I got a second row stall seat, so right near the front of the stage, and it's the first time that I've experienced the RSC where the stage was so low. I was like, oh, okay, so there's no need to look up as you usually do when you're in that section. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And it was so much fun. I had such a blast at this production. Everyone brought their A game, and funnily enough, because before my holiday, I haven't mentioned it in my previous video, I really got into Shetland, this crime drama made by the BBC, based on characters by Anne Cleave. So Anne Cleave wrote a series of 8 books of the Shetland series, which follows Jimmy Perez, who is a detective solving various crimes on the Shetland Islands, which there's hardly any people there, and everybody knows everybody's business. When somebody is murdered, pretty much everyone is a suspect, and it's all about these cases. So the first 2 series adapt 4 of the books, and then from series 3 onwards it is new stories written by other writers using the same characters. So Anne Cleave's work, her books cover the first 2 series and 4 of the 8 books, and then it's after that. Now, there have been 8 series so far. We don't know if we're getting a 9th series, just so you're aware. But in the 7th series, there was a character who really stood out for me, and it's this blonde-haired woman who she and her father do some dodgy things. I'm just going to say that because obviously spoilers. And what do you know? She turned up on the stage, and I'm like, oh, hello. Wasn't expecting to see her. And also Helen Cooks, who in Upstart Crow played Susanna Shakespeare, and she was Peter Quince. And I was like, oh wow. So they were the surprise ones. Lysander was played by the guy who was Rodney in the West End production of Only Fools and Horses, and he did like 1,000 performances. So I was like, oh, so I recognised him as well. There were other cast members who I'd seen in other productions. So pretty much, even though nearly everyone on the stage were making their RSC debut, I already recognised them from other projects, which is really, really great. And the actress who played Puck, oh my God, I loved her. And I actually saw her RSC debut 2 years previously, because I was there to see Richard III and also All's Well That Ends Well. And I loved her in those productions, and I knew she was playing Puck in this, but my God, she brought her A game in this. It was so good. And all of the various effects that they did with sound, with lights, handheld lights, they throwing them between hands and across rooms and up in the air. And even there was a bit where the flower that Puck uses to, cast the spells on various people, the first time we see it, it's like a 3D projection, and they're like, oh yeah. And then the next time we see it, literally a minute later, it's actually a physical flower that Puck is able to just literally grab out of thin air, and it's there. And using those kind of special effects techniques on the stage for A Midsummer Night's Dream were really, really well done. I thought they were fantastic. The atmosphere was wonderful. It was so great. So if you are able to see this production either at the RSC in Stratford or when it moves to London, and I say that it's most likely going to happen because RSC productions do move to London. I think it's the Barbican as standard later on in the year. So they have like a couple of months, 2 or 3 months in Stratford, then which this production ends at the end of the month, I believe. Then they have a bit of a break for maybe like a couple of months or so, and then it moves over to London at the Barbican. So yes, so if you are able to see it there, I'd recommend you get tickets as well. I have no idea if those tickets are even available yet. As I said, I'm saying this most likely that it hasn't become available, but most likely it will happen. I hope to God that they record this so that it will come out on DVD, especially because the charity and everything. This is going to bring a lot of revenue, I think, DVD wise. This production, it was so wonderfully put together, wonderfully acted. I love the fact that there were some things that you just didn't expect, like stuff falling from the sky. There were ladders that came up from under the stage, and you watched the actors climb aboard, and they went right up to the top of the stage. Like, what the hell was going on? You didn't know what was going to happen at any given moment. And to do that with a play that is so well known, that is unique. That was like a breath of fresh air, and I loved every second of it. And it was really interesting also because I think the others who I had previously seen in other productions, I had, just like the actress who played Buck, I had seen her debut. I think I'd seen other actors who I was seeing for a second or third time. I had also seen their debuts years ago, so it was really lovely to see them again and go, oh, okay, so this is what you're up to now. As to what could happen in the future, I don't know. I really hope. I love the fact that nearly all of them were making their RSC debut, and I really hope to see them in the future. And funnily enough, the day after I saw it, so I saw it the Tuesday, on the Wednesday, after I went to my second theatre trip, which I'll talk about in a minute, I went to Marks and Spencer's just to buy myself something light for dinner. And I was at the self-service, and I just happened to glance to my left, and right there is the actress who played Hermia from Shetland. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't go up to her. I didn't want to seem like, one of those weird people that just like, she's having a private moment in her life where she's buying herself some food, and she wandered off, and I passed her when she was looking at earrings. She's a person. I don't want to disturb her and, gush about her work because, it's not like she's at a stage door. She's just having a moment where she's bought herself some food and she's looking at earrings. So I didn't bother to stop and speak to her. But I did notice that she had an RSC script with her. Because when I glanced down, because I needed to put my stuff into the bagging area, she had an RSC script literally on where the basket goes for her till, and it just had in big letters. I just saw like diagonally across the page in massive font, so I couldn't miss it. It said rehearsal 1, but I didn't see any of the writing on the page, so I've absolutely no idea it could have been a Midsummer Night's Dream script for all I know, or it could be for an upcoming project. And if it's for an upcoming project, I really hope to see her again on the stage at the RSC, because she was absolutely brilliant as Hermia. So I had such a blast at A Midsummer Night's Dream. If you are able to get a ticket, do. It is an absolutely wonderful production, and if you're not able to get a ticket, then hopefully it will come out on DVD and then you can experience it at home. If it does it could possibly also, because RSC tend to actually broadcast in cinemas as well, so you never know, it might get recorded and broadcast in cinemas, so that's another way to possibly see this if they do that. So yeah, we shall see. So that was the Tuesday. Then Wednesday, I went to a matinee performance of Ben and Imo in the Swan Theatre. This is my first experience since it's been refurbished going to Swan Theatre. So just so you're aware, if you don't know, when you go into the RSC buildings, there are two theatres. To the left as you enter, there is the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, which is where A Midsummer Night's Dream was on, and the other theatre is called the Swan Theatre. It's a bit smaller, but it's the same kind of layout and everything. And what you do is you walk straight ahead through the shop, right to the end of the stretch of corridor, past there's some tables and chairs set out if you want to relax. And literally it is to the left-hand side at the end of the corridor. So yeah, that's where the Swan Theatre is. And they put on a production of Ben and Imo, a new play about Benjamin Britten, and Imogen Holst, and this is their real life pictures, just so that you are aware. And it's a play about their working relationship, and in a way their personal relationship as well. It's set in 1953, and Benjamin has been commissioned to write an opera. So because Queen Elizabeth II is due to be coronated, 52 is when it begins. Yes, because it goes into 53. Sorry, at the end of the first act, it's going into 1953. Sorry, 1952. He is commissioned to write an opera about Queen Elizabeth I, which will be played at the coronation day of Queen Elizabeth II. So he's got an opera to write, and he needs a musical assistant. And Imogen Holst, who is the daughter of Gustav Holst, turned up on his doorstep and basically went, "Hi, I'm your musical assistant." And it's about them learning to work with each other, these quite contrasting characters, learning to work together to bring together this musical masterpiece, but also the doubts that Benjamin had over his work. And as mentioned in the play, this is one of those pieces that it will be heard, but it may be forgotten. But as time goes by, it will be seen as a wonderful piece of work, but you're going to have to just deal with that. And Benjamin has a lot of doubts. He has these issues where all of a sudden he'll get really angry and he'll scream and he'll kind of like trash his work. And Imogen is the balance, as it were, for him. He depends on her, but also she needs things from him as well for dealing with things that are going on with her. And in a way, she has to be kind of like mother to him. So there's parts where he's screaming at her, he's swearing, he's throwing stuff around, and she just stands there and she's like, "Are you done with your tantrum? Okay then, let's move on," and just cleans up the crap that gets thrown about the room and goes, "Right, open the page, there, do this, you've got to do this." And it was so interesting to see this play reflecting the balance of the two. There was also there was a lot of work with the piano. I think at times it was clear that it was the actors on stage who were doing that. There's actually only two actors, but there was some very, very, very complex piano work, and I was thinking, you'd need like years and years and years of training to be able to play that, wouldn't you? But then this is me not knowing how to play the piano, thinking that. And then right at the end, they when they did their bows, they indicated to a balcony, and a man appeared, and he did a load of bows as well. So I think he was playing the music up in the balcony, and the actors were pretending. But there were times where they were actually playing. You could tell they were playing, because there were, some keys, they might have hit the wrong key or something, that kind of thing. So it was so interesting a play. This is only the second time I've seen a non-Shakespeare related play at the RSC. And the other one was a comedy called Vice Versa, I think. Must be about 5 odd years ago now, I think. And yeah, so to have this play about two people I knew diddly squat about and learn about their relationship and their art and what music meant to them was really, really beautiful. It was well put together. I thought the two actors who played Ben and Emo, who I've seen in multitudes of other projects, both theatre and on TV and in film, they were brilliant. They worked together so well, and I found it incredibly moving too. And yeah, it actually, having it at the Swan really worked, because the Swan, being that bit smaller, it felt more intimate. And so having it only 2 actors on the stage in this very intimate setting, and it's just literally, it's one room, and occasionally there was a revolving section of the stage, so the piano that sat in the center would revolve round, so you could get different scenes have different angles of the same room, but it was one room for the whole 2-hour play. Having that intimacy of being in this house, it was called the Red House where they wrote this, and I believe it was Benjamin's house. It just made the emotions and the music and the way that these two played off each other, needed each other, but also kind of had issues and frictions with each other. It made it all the more intense, and I really loved that. I thought that just suited the Swan Theatre so well. So yeah, I think it's one of those times where the theatre and the play just fit beautifully. It was really well put together. So yeah, so those are my experiences of seeing Ben and Imo and Midsummer Night's Dream. I definitely recommend both if you are able to get a ticket to them. I don't think Ben and Imo's going to be on for much longer. I'm not sure, and I can't find the dates in the programme, so and I don't know if it's going to be transferring to Barbican. As I said, I've only ever been to one other non-Shakespeare related production at the RSC. So I don't know if the transfer is the same situation for new plays like Ben and Imo, but we shall see. You never know. So if it does transfer and you're able to get a ticket, then I'd recommend you go see it. Or if you can get a ticket before it leaves Stratford, I'd recommend it. So, of course, I bought myself lots of goodies and such, and 2 goodies I bought myself were books. And one of these books is kind of what I want to move on to now, about new possible videos that I'd be doing. And this first one I specifically bought because I want to talk about it, but I want to refresh myself in the material, and that is One Day. Now, I got this secondhand in a charity shop. It is like new, brand new. I got it for like £3. So clearly whoever got this went, nah, and gave it away. So whoever did, thank you. I got that in Stratford-upon-Avon charity shop. So here's the deal. One Day is a book that I read. I think it must have been a year or more after it was published, because I had the paperback, not the hardback. And I read that book, and I remember thinking, I don't see why this is popular, and also this is problematic as fuck. It is so weird. And then I saw the film, and the film's okay, but again, I still felt like, yeah, this doesn't make the book I still think it's fucked up. And then, of course, one day the Netflix series has come out, which is what this cover is a tie-in for. And I've been having discussions with my sister Laura and our bestie Sarah, hey Sarah, and about it, and we all agree it is a messed up, fucked up romance where we can't understand why it's so popular. So I thought I'd do a video on it. But of course, in order to be fair, I need to reread the book because it's been well over a decade since I read it, rewatch the film and also watch the Netflix series. So that is my plan to do now that I'm back from holiday, to do all of those. But that will be obviously separate from my usual book reviews because I'm going to do my own video just solely on that book. And I wondered if there were any other book topics and such you'd be interested in me to talk about, to look into, to discuss. So I don't know what I'm going to call that video, but maybe why is one day so fucked up to me? I don't know. But yeah, I cannot understand why people just are gushing over how romantic it is when it's so gross. Oh my god, it's so weird. But obviously I will get more into that when I actually go through both adaptations and reread the original text, and then I will do a video on that and we can discuss that further then. But yes, I thought, okay, are there any other things like fucked up things in books and how we process them? Is there anything that you would like me to talk about there? And the other book I got also for £3, but not from a charity shop, from the works. It is The Maid by Nita Prost. So this is a book where it's actually been on my Amazon wishlist for quite a while, but I've never got around to getting it. And I love the tagline, "You don't see her, but she sees you." And it says, it began like any other day for Molly Gray, silently dusting her way through the luxury rooms at the Regency Grand Hotel. But when she enters Suite 401 and discovers an infamous guest dead in his bed, a very messy mystery begins to unfold, and Molly's at the heart of it. Because if anyone can uncover the secrets beneath the surface, the fingerprints amongst the filth, it's the maid. And then it's a little ticket with stuff crossed out, and crossed out says, plump the pillows, polish the doorknobs, sweep away secrets, and then underneath, underlined, not crossed out, it says, clean up the body. So, yeah, and I was thinking about this because my sister also has read a book called The Housemaid, which I also saw there at the works, but I didn't get it because I was thinking, yeah, I'm weighing down my suitcase with all the other stuff that I bought and everything. So I was like, I can get that another day. But it's a similar thing of the help seeing things that people will want to keep secret, and the power shifts, the thing of social class, because it tends to be, someone who is of wealth who is hiring a maid. Obviously, in this book, it is at a hotel, so you're gonna have people of all different classes. At the hotel, whereas the housemaid, it is particular. You are an individual being hired by a wealthy family to look after them. So, but that society shift versus the power shift of secrets being revealed and such, and why are we so interested in that? Why do we lap that up as readers? And yeah, it just made me think about patterns in books and such. So I got The Maid, and I think I'll get The Housemaid as well. That one is the first book of 3, I believe it is. So yeah, I'll look into getting that book. But that's another possible book topic. Why are we drawn to this? Why do we find mysteries and relating to class so important or so interesting? the class system is always an interesting thing to look at and acknowledge. And in general, also throughout history, and how social shifts can change, but some things don't, no matter how hard you may want them to. And so, yeah, it just made me think about that, about the social class in books, how we feel about them, why do we love looking at it? Things that all of these things kind of came to mind. So definitely one day is going to have its own video, but I just wondered if you would be interested in me talking about other things as well, such as social class and such. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about various different book topics while I was on holiday. And now I'm home. So over to you. Do you want to, if there's certain things that you would like to have me talk about, either as an individual book or just a general book topic, I'd love to know. So put that in the comments below, and I will let you know what I plan to do a video on after I've done the one day. And I will be continuing on with the videos about stories in my soul, but yeah, because I've been on holiday, I just haven't been able to do the next one, but I will be soon. So yeah, so that was my holiday, my thoughts on my theatre trips, the couple of books I bought, the things I've been thinking of. It's been a busy week, but I've had such a blast. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I can't believe I'm back to work tomorrow, but it is what it is. So there we go. All right, I better go because I need to film the review of the book that I read over my holiday, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Here in the UK today it is Mother's Day, so if you do celebrate Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day, and yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.